Hello, YouTube. We're here in my car because of a comment someone made to a comment I made on another prepper channel about the utility of your car in a situation where the stuff hits the quickly rotating air handling device. I've been thinking about the utility of your vehicle in a situation like that. Immediately came to mind a number of things that, a number of resources that your car offers. Well, first off, it is a form of transportation as long as you don't run out of gasoline. And to that end, and for other reasons, you need to consider what kind of vehicle you have. A big four-wheel drive vehicle will help you get over damaged roads, over rough terrain if you have to go off-road. It's one of those things, it's not something you use a lot, but when you need it, there it is. It can also be used for hauling stuff. After everything's gone down, if you can drive to a relief center where they're distributing relief supplies, you can certainly carry more stuff back with you, more bottled water, more food, more fuel, more whatever, if you've got a vehicle, than if you're trying to carry it back by hand. So, two obvious uses for your vehicle, but only as good as the gasoline in the tank lasts. And in an emergency, gasoline can be in very short supply, so you have to be careful about rationing your fuel and making sure you don't squander it. So, and that means two things. Number one, getting home after an emergency, the roads are going to be clogged. Everybody's going to be trying to get home. If you've ever tried to get home after a snowmageddon event, snow starts falling in the middle of the day, your employer dismisses all the employees, and instant gridlock. And everybody is just sitting there in the total gridlock, idling their engines, just burning up valuable gasoline. Don't do that, If the earthquake hits when you're at work, sit tight. Just sit tight at work. You should have your get-home bag with you anyway. If you live within walking distance of work, walk home. Go get your vehicle the next day after everybody else has given up trying to get home. And on your way back, you can check the condition of the roads and whether or not there's other vehicles in the road that are going to prevent you from getting home. But the fuel in your tank is the next thing. We've kind of segued into that. The fuel in your gas tank is your second most important thing. Even if you don't use it for running the vehicle, you can put it in a generator. You can also, if you've got a Coleman 425 stove or a single burner liquid fuel stove, those stoves can burn unleaded gasoline as well as Coleman fuel. So the gasoline in your gas tank is a very valuable resource for cooking, not just running the engine in your car. Assuming you have a device to siphon the gasoline out of your tank. Item number 3 is every car has an AM/FM radio, possibly even a Sirius satellite radio if you're paying for the subscription. After the earthquake or a big or a bad SHTF situation, local broadcasters may be off the air. But the satellite broadcasters may still be broadcasting, and you may be able to pick up some information from them about what's going on from the perspective of somebody outside looking in. So the radio in your car, certainly pick up local FM radio stations. If they're still broadcasting on emergency power, will give you the best information. I previously thought that the AM radio band would be invaluable. However, many of the AM radio stations are no longer transmitting at the high power rates that they used to be able to transmit at. I remember, 30 years or so ago, driving across country from North Carolina to Alabama, middle of the night, and I'm listening to an AM radio station out of Cleveland, Ohio. Okay? I don't know that those clear channel radio stations exist anymore. But certainly an AM broadcast will carry further if it's being transmitted with the high power necessary to let it carry. And at night, the AM radio stations will carry further. So getting a hold of information outside the area by the AM band on your car radio is definitely a possibility and an invaluable tool. Number 4 is the battery. This one's probably the most important. The battery in your car, and of course it's connected to the power ports in your car. And those power ports, at least in 3 vehicles that I've owned, you don't need to put the key in the ignition to get these power ports to fire up. Let me see. So I was trying to tell you that I had no key in the ignition, but there it is. And then if we go down here and look, I've got one of these things, and you'll notice that when I plug it into the power port on the car, it lights up. Anyway, so you can see that power port on the car is active. And by the way, this car has 3 power ports. There's one here, 2 here at my elbow. One is in the center console. One is outside of the center console. One of them is behind me, also in the center console, but near the feet of the rear seat passengers as well. 3 power ports that come up without using a key. And of course, I've mentioned it before. You need to get yourself one of these. Okay, 2 USB ports, plugs into a power port in the car, gives you 2 USB charging ports for your devices. And we've gone over what devices those are: your rechargeable flashlight, your phone, your power packs. This thing, I don't know, I didn't give you a very good look at it. It also has 2 high rate power delivery. No, these aren't power delivery. It's got 2 high rate USB ports. I believe those are 2.4 amps each. And then, of course, these are 2 more power ports. It doubles up the existing power port, so you don't give that up. And if you were to plug one of these things in it, you suddenly got 4 USB ports. I've been using this thing for years. I don't even know if you can buy this thing still. I'll look for it again on Amazon. Maybe post a link down below in the description. The last thing your car can be used for, not the best use for your car, but if you've got a wide open back like this, and this, we've got the seats up in this one. If we then fold the seats down, we get even longer space back there. You can certainly shelter in your car. Sleep in there if you have to. Not the best way to shelter, but if it's your only option, it will keep you out of the weather. One time we were camping and a thunderstorm came through. And the rain wasn't that bad, but the lightning was striking all around us. And we hightailed it for the car and sat in the car while the storm played itself out. So definitely shelter is a big use for your car as well. And of course, if you must, but running the engine is going to use up a lot of valuable gasoline. If you must run the engine, then you've also got the climate controls that are available to you to warm up or cool down the car if it's necessary to keep yourself warm or cooler. Not the absolute best use for your vehicle, but if that's your only choice and that's all you got, if it's a matter of life and death, then might as well use it. Now, of course, your battery, you have to keep the battery charged if you're discharging it through these power ports. So running your engine is not the best way to do that. For one, it takes a lot of power just to start the engine of the car, and then you've got to run the engine about 10 or 15 minutes just to make back up the power you used to start the car before you can even then start adding a charge to your battery again. If you're running a generator to, for instance, keep your refrigerator going, get yourself a battery charger. Use that to charge your battery while you're also running something else important. In another video, I'll post the link right up here, I showed you how I built a solar panel that can be, in fact, I showed you it then hooked to the car battery, charging up the car to keep the car battery charged with solar power. This is probably the best option. And although a 100-watt solar panel, car battery, and some power ports to keep lanterns, flashlights, cell phones, etc. charged up is not the most amount of power that you can have. It's a very, very inexpensive way to keep everything charged up, and having working flashlights and lanterns when nobody else does, it's going to feel like living in luxury compared to living in complete darkness. So there you go, about 5 or 6 different resources that your car provides in the case of an emergency. Thanks for watching. So I've been Gordon Reeder, and this has been Northwest Prepared. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share this with your friends, because all your friends who live in the Pacific Northwest need to know this information. And as always, if you want to be notified of future videos as they sporadically come out, hit the bell icon and hit the subscribe button, and be much appreciated if you do that. Thank you for watching, and always be ready.